Friends, welcome. Today we're going to talk about six psychological mindsets that separate great players from hacks. Whether you know this or not, psychology of a particular subject has way more to do, oftentimes, than the actual mechanics. Your psychology of saving money, your psychology of working out, your psychology of diet. Doesn't matter what it is, if you don't understand the psychology of something, chances are you're not going to be very good at it because you're not going to know why it is that you're doing what you're doing. So for instance, on diet, if you know that you want to get thin and you have a very definitive why, that's your psychology. You're going to be much more successful at a diet than if you say didn't do that, right? So what we're going to be talking about today are six. Now there's many psychological mindsets that will empower you to be greater at whatever it is that you do. And on guitar, there's a lot more than six. But these are the ones that I find that just come up over and over and over and over again. And if you can master these, and they're not hard, but just me actually saying them to you are going to open up. It's going to crack the shell for you. For many of you. Some of you, you might know some of these, okay? I'm pointing down here because I have them written down. So important. Here we go. Let's talk about these psychological mindsets. You know me, I love the psychological part of all of this, okay? And I have lots of videos for you on this. Here we go. Let's talk about these. Okay, I'm going to go down these six, and then we're going to drill down, because if you don't know what this means, just me saying the title is not going to help you. So watch this video in its entirety, okay? Number one, knowing your why. Number two, pushing against your edge. Number three, slowing things down, breaking things down. Four, manage expectations, frustrations, and pain. Number five, only medicine is practice. Number six, there's nothing you cannot do if you have the strategy and you do the work, okay? Let's talk about this though, because that doesn't help just knowing these, right? We've got to get the nitty-gritty about this stuff. So let's do it. Okay, number one, knowing your why, okay? What does this mean? This is the very last video. If you want more detail on this one, this is the very last video in UGS Standard, which I give you for free, the very first link below. So if you want an expanded version of this, check that out, okay? Right there. Or I'm going to give you a text number later on. You can text me and I'll get you set up with it, okay? But knowing your why is this important? Let's think about this for a minute. If you want to play guitar for a specific reason, a lot of times it's a particular band or a particular artist or a particular style of music that moves people to say, I'm going to do this. I want more work for myself. I want more frustration, but it's not that, right? It's what you're going to end up with, but oftentimes, but there's a desire there. I want to do this, right? There's a reason that we go to the gym. It's not because we want more work to do. It's because we want the results of the more work. But when you can get into a groove, then that work is not so much work anymore. The bigger your why, then the less it's going to seem like work to you. Do you think the guys from Aerosmith or the guys from Kiss or whoever, name a great famous band, they did a lot of work and touring and writing and in the studio and endless hours. Do you think it was fun? Do you think it is fun for them? You bet your bippy it's super fun for them. Their why was so big, though, that it did not seem like work at all. Most of the time, probably seems like fun. So knowing your why is really, really important. Plus, there's a million things to practice. So if your why is really big, like for instance, I want to be a pro songwriter in Nashville. Okay, boom, that's a great why, and it's definitive. You don't want to be this, that, or the other thing. You want to be a songwriter in Nashville. You're picking a lane, you're sticking to it, boom. So knowing your why is very important for that. The other reason why it's very important, having a psychological carrot out there for you, is when you know what your why is, your specific why, because it's different for me, it's going to be different for everybody who's watching this. If you say want to be a blues guitar player, you're going to be able to know what specific things you need to go after as opposed to the person who doesn't, and they're just like, I just want to play guitar because I want to be famous. Not very definitive. They're going to be all over the place in their practice. So knowing your why. For more information about that particular subject, first link below, or here's the text for you. You can go straight, or at this text here, if you type in free, I'll set it up for you. You don't even have to click that link. I'll actually set it up for you. You just type in free to that number there. And if you don't want the course, but you just want to be communicating with me, same thing, type in UGS to that number and I'll set you up, okay? Number two, a very important thing is to understand the idea of pushing against your edge, okay? A lot of different ways that you could say this, but essentially without growth, as a living, breathing being, if we're not pushing against our edge, if we're not growing, we are not happy. Let me say it again, because for some of you that is brand new information. If you're not growing, you're not happy. Bottom line. This whole idea of just sitting and being content and what have you, there is no such thing. You can be content for a moment. Once you reach a plateau, like you're climbing a mountain and then you sit on the edge and you look at all the beauty that had you not climbed up that mountain, you wouldn't have seen all this. But after that, after you take enough of it in, it's time to move on again. We have to grow as beings. If you don't psychologically understand that mindset and you're not pushing against your edge, you're not going to be happy. This is with everything in your life, every area of your life. Finances, health, relationships, all. Guitar's no different. If I am the same guitar player that I was 20 years ago, I'm not going to be very happy playing guitar. We have to have new things that we come against all the time. So what does that mean? Stretching outside of your comfort zone. When you're practicing, pushing against that edge to your capacity, okay? Number three, slow things down, break things down. I have lots of videos for this on YouTube where I go into it in more detail. You could search, in fact, you could search YourGuitarSage, slow things down, break things down. You'll find that sort of thing. If you're in UGS Pro, you know about this all day because I have several videos on this teaching you how to do this and applying it with finger picking, with soloing, with writing songs, with singing and playing at the same time, all this in UGS Pro, you know about this. But you have to understand the concept of slowing things down, breaking things down. What a lot of people do is they find a song and they say, oh, I want to do that, and that desire's there, so they know their why, the carrot's out there, but they're going after this thing, and because they just think that it's going to come to them right away and they're not breaking it down to bite-sized pieces that they can absorb, right? They give up. So we don't want to do that. You want to understand the concept of breaking things down and slowing things down. It's psychological, but now how do you actually do it? Watch the videos that I have for that because that's a whole nother subject, okay? Number four, manage your expectations, frustrations, pain. I cannot tell you how many times I have a student say to me, how long should it take for me to do blank, whatever that is, master the guitar, get good at finger picking, get good at soloing, etc., etc. Or they say, hey, I've been playing this chord forever, or a million times, or whatever, fill in the blank of whatever the psychological thing that they're putting in there, how long they've practiced, and I'm still not getting this. Meaning, what that means to me is they have an expectation that they should get there by now. Number one, we need to understand how to manage those expectations, because just because you think that something should be a certain way, here comes the offense. I'm going to offend you. Here you go. Ready for it? Not very popular in today's world. Just because you think that it should be a certain way does not mean that it is a certain way. It just means that you think it should be a certain way. Okay? So for those that just dropped out because they were too weak to hear that statement, for those of you that are still with me, we need to understand how to manage our expectations in this world. When it comes to guitar, when it comes to playing, just because you think you practiced a lot means nothing to the universe in playing guitar. You practicing enough, or you practicing enough times to get that particular thing down, that's what we're after. Your opinion of it does not matter. Sorry to offend, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the cosmos, okay? You practicing that specific thing enough times with the right amount of focus and everything else is the thing that's gonna get you there. So managing your expectations, and that is a learned thing, like all this stuff is. managing your frustrations, learning stuff step by step, managing the pain. If you're like, God, my fingers really hurt, okay, ease up a little bit. Or learn some theory. Let your fingers rest. Learn some theory. Get some understanding. Watch some videos on YouTube or wherever inside my course to understand that you can learn other things while not necessarily having your fingers on the guitar as well if your fingers are hurting. So managing all of that. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5. The only medicine for what ails you is, come on, say it with me, practice. And you can put it in the chat there too, that's fine. I'm not answering questions today, you guys know this, right? A million different ways that you can get in touch with me, but the chat right now is not one if we want to do these shorter videos, okay? So medicine is the only, or practice is the only medicine for what ails you. What that means is exactly that. People say, I'm really trying to get this F chord. How can I get it? Can you show me an exercise? The exercise is the F chord. Practice that. Eric, I can't get my scales down. I'm trying to play my major scale. Can you tell me how to do that? Well, you do it. You practice it enough times. That is your practice, or that is the medicine for what ails you for getting to get that particular thing down, okay? And the more medicine, in this case, the better. Okay. Number 6, there is nothing that you cannot do on the guitar. I could say this about anything if you have the strategy and the work. Now, me just saying that alone will literally trigger people right now in the chat and or in the comments because for some reason, I don't know why it is, but people get really offended if you give them the gift, if you tell them that they are unlimited beings and they can do anything that they want, literally. And if that's you right now and you're being triggered in you right now, I am specifically talking to you to understand this concept that whatever it is that you believe in your brain is the door for what it is that you can do or cannot do. Henry Ford said, said, if you believe you can, if you believe you can't, you are correct. If that does not make sense to you or if that offends you, I'm talking to you specifically. If you think that you can be a great guitar player, that alone is not going to make you a great guitar player. I agree with you. However, you thinking that you can never be a good guitar player is indeed never going to get you, or it's going to get you to the place that you know that you can get to, which is being a terrible guitar player. If you cannot think in your own mind's eye that you can be a great player, you're never going to trip into being a great player. It doesn't work that way. The only way to do it is to actually foresee yourself doing it, and that's work. It's just like going to the gym. You need to be able to see that in your mind, your mind's eye, whatever you want to say. Imagine it. You have to be able to see yourself in that position to be able to even have the opportunity to. Then you need to work. Then you need to practice. Practicing is the medicine for what ails you. So once you can envision that you have that potential to do whatever you want, then you've got to get to working on it. But without that spark, without that imagination first, you're not going to be able to do it. Friends, lots of psychology in this. It's really important psychology. You got to know more. That's why I give you the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard for free. The very first link below is how to get that. YourGuitarSage.com/UGS. If you don't want to go there, if you want me to do the work for you, text me. Text free to this number right here. FREE. I will get you set up with that program for absolutely free. We've had 500,000 people go through this with massive success. I give it to you for free, or visit me here in Nashville. We'll do it one-on-one. It'll cost way over $1,000, or you can just click on the link or text me. I make it nice and easy for you, okay? If you are in UGS already, if you're in UGS Pro, or if you're in 30, in the chat, if you would, let folks know. Say go pro if you're pro. Or just say 30 if you've done 30 already. And if you're in 30, you know what to do next. Get into pro. That's it, my friends. I'm here for you. Oh, real quick. Hit up my social media right there. So I'm on all the bits and pieces right here. You can also DM me at Instagram and I will reply to you with voice or video if you need help with something. Please like this video, friends. Right now, like it, like it, like it. Share it with a friend. Hit subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. I'm here every day for you. I love you. I'll see you. I'm out of here.